Disclaimer: the following program features language not suitable for all audiences, and the expressed opinions found within this program are a reflection of those who feature on the Pop Culture Effect podcast. Welcome to the Pop Culture Effect. I'm Rockin Rob, and on this show I bring my closest friends together to talk about all of the news happening in our pop culture world around us.
Heyo, welcome to the Pop Culture Effect. I'm Subset, and this is the show I bring my closest friends together to talk about all the news happening in our pop culture world around us.
Subset. I love him like a brother, even if he has trouble handling introductions and hosting. Also, he's joined by...
Blaze.
Yes.
Gemini.
Hello.
And Menace.
Hello.
Am I hosting this whole thing, by the way?
You gotta bring in the first story at least.
Okay. I gotta switch over to the other one. I'm sorry. I'm new.
He's still an intern. No. It's okay.
He's gonna reach the top shelf. Yeah. Instead of being mean to one person, I'm gonna bring all of us together to talk about something that's been on everybody's radar for a while. And we're gonna talk about the Steamboat Willie public domain. And people couldn't wait any longer.
Like, no joke, the stuff that came out from this was just as quick as the whole Winnie the Pooh thing.
Right? Like, day one, the moment it became 2024, bam, horror game, bam, movie.
I find it like they've been holding on to this shit for a while.
I find it interesting, though, that whenever the public domain stuff ends, it's always a horror genre thing that comes out of it.
Because you can do so much, but at the same time, so little. It's great.
I feel like it's mainly because that, like, all these IPs that are coming into the public domain used to be kids shows. They're all friendly, so they're trying to be like, what can we do to do a spin on this and kind of make it our own thing?
Be edgy.
Yeah, that's everybody's first option. Let's make it horror.
And you know, it's Mickey Mouse in a sense.
And since this is an episode where I don't actually have a YouTube channel to shout out, I am going to take this opportunity just because of the fact that as I was editing this, when Subset said Mickey Mouse, the only thing I could think of was the Game Grumps episode of Mickey Mousecapade. Go check that out because it is genuinely one of the funniest videos they've ever made.
It honestly feels like they're going for like a Bendy and the Ink Machine kind of feel with this horror game.
Just a little bit. Instead of ink, it's a rat that mutated.
Interesting.
Is it? Because this is going to be quite a ride, especially if you're going to...
Sarcasm?
What's sarcasm? I never heard sarcasm. Sure.
Well, wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy?
Ouch. Okay. Are you guys going to make your own little parody to join in this public domain bandwagon?
Not really, because I don't give a shit.
I don't.
I really don't know too much about the whole. Is it so basically just that version of Mickey as Steamboat Willie is like that's free
just
for everyone
anything
to do
from
whatever.
the Steamboat? Yeah, that Mickey from the Steamboat Willie is now in the public domain.
So black and white in that type of style, all good.
It means you can have your VTuber characters, Subset.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, but it's fine. It's fine. This is gonna work out either way. It's gonna work out. We'll find
The artist said no, you can't have it.
We'll find a middle ground. Don't worry. It's fine.
I already sent you your middle ground, buddy.
This isn't the time or place, damn it.
I will say though, Trin, that little mouse character will have a secondary section in the show.
Probably. We have gotten completely off topic about Steamboat Willie. For me, I didn't really care. Robbie was the one who pushed it so damn hard.
Okay, so maybe I pushed the Steamboat Willie story, you know, it's topical, but the real reason why I wanted this to be talked about was the fact that Disney, through Steamboat Willie, has systematically lengthened every single copyright from here until the end of time, because in 1928, when Disney initially made the copyright for Steamboat Willie, that was 96 years ago, and the reason why it took so long for Steamboat Willie to go into the public domain was because Disney constantly lobbied for them to extend the copyright. I think it happened like 4 or 5 times where they kept paying off to extend its life cycle, and now it finally came to a head. But the problem is now every single piece of media that is made today, you have to wait 96 years before it's in public domain, all because of Disney. And that was kind of the main reason, aside from the craziness that is the internet having access to Steamboat Willie in its entirety, kind of what I wanted to mention and talk about, because this is going to fundamentally change content and IP as a whole for the rest of time. But yeah, that was my little add-on to why I kind of pushed for this story so hard. But yeah.
It's technically a big thing, but like there's not really much.
It's a way to get back at the mouse.
It's not even getting back at the mouse though.
It is getting. At some people, it is. For me, it is.
But he's not even like
taking power back from Disney.
But they didn't. We're not taking it. They gave it up.
I know, because they didn't renew it in time. So
I don't know. I think it's funny how everyone's like flipping out about it. I will admit, but I'm like, meh. It's meh.
It happened until the movie and the game comes out, and then we're gonna see it again. Yeah. We're gonna see like other projects coming out, and other projects that were held back because of this are just gonna come out as well. It's not even like pertaining it, just a style. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just yapping at this point.
Should we move on to the next topic,
please?
One more thing I want to mention about the whole Steamboat Willie situation before my friends take it away to the rest of the content of this episode. Obviously, after this goes out and beyond, there will be plenty more projects going out, but there is one I want to mention, and that is a new film being created titled The Return of Steamboat Willie. This movie will be completely created within Unreal Engine. It looks amazing, and this is one piece of Steamboat Willie media that is actually taking place on the boat itself. I know, it's crazy. Anyways, back to my friends with the rest of this wonderful episode.
Anyway, finishing up with Steamboat Willie being public domain. My apologies, Robbie, if we didn't talk about it as much as you wanted us to, but that's besides the point. Stay editing. Anyway, Blaze, what do you have to tell us about the Percy Jackson review and how your opinion?
Yeah, the Percy Jackson show on Disney Plus. It's not fully out yet. I think there's still like 2 episodes left that need to air. They release the episode. They're releasing the episodes every Tuesday at 9 p.m. ET, which would be 6 p.m. PT, if I'm correct. Yeah. But the show so far has been doing really well. A lot of people are enjoying it, and a lot of people are saying it's staying very truthful or as close to faithful as possible with the books.
How? Because I've read 4 of the books, halfway through 5, but never really finished it. But knowing between the books and the first movie, or like the movies that came out, the first adaptation, I should say, how accurate, like, between, what's the differences between, is there differences, or is it like,
it's the first movie, I don't want to say it didn't do a terrible job at showing a lot of how the first book went. The movie definitely cut out some important things and changed a couple things, but watching the show and knowing the movie that they made a few years back, you can definitely see a couple similarities of what they did do correct. But for the most part, the show is pretty much staying as faithful to the first book as it can be. I haven't read the books myself. I really want to, and watching the show might actually get me into it to see how truthful the show was. But I've heard a lot of reviews and people saying that it does do really well at staying true to the original books.
Because that was honestly, back in the day, at least for most of us, when, either our schools had that whole homework read for an hour when you get home, you had the Scholastic book fair, and Percy Jackson was one of those books that I was forced, air quotations, to read, but actually got into it once I started it.
Loser, all I had was fan fiction back then.
Hey, I've always been interested in like the Greek and Roman gods and stuff like that, like, and even like the Norse gods, stuff like that. So I don't know, adding a more like, hey, this is a kid around my age, and they're dealing with all the being a son of a god and stuff like that. Like, that was cool to me. So
one thing that's really good too that the show's doing is that they actually hired in actors that look and are the appropriate age to these characters as they grow up with the series, like how Harry Potter was, where they hired in actors at the appropriate ages to grow up with the roles.
That was one of the things when I saw the first time I saw the trailer. That was one of the first things I noticed, was like, hey, look, they actually look like they should be here and not, going and getting a job at McDonald's.
Yeah, so far, a lot of people are really liking it. Rotten Tomato has the critics have it as a 96%, which is pretty good for critics. And then the audience has it as an 84%. So overall, a lot of people are really enjoying it. This is also the last time we'll ever see Lance Reddick acting. Rest in peace. I believe he is Zeus in this series.
Yeah, kind of interested to see him do that because Zeus is kind of a.
Yeah, I mean, too, for a lot of the Greek gods are kind of.
That's true.
That's the whole point, Yeah. Love and tragedy.
No, that is their whole thing. Their whole god system was based on like the wrathful gods.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, the show's going pretty well so far. I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely making me want to read the books after it's all done.
Just go back.
Yep, and it is on both Disney Plus and Hulu. And as of this recording, there's 2 episodes left to air, and they will be airing on Tuesday nights. For a total of 8 episodes, and I'm pretty sure with how well this is doing that this series will continue, and we should get hopefully a full series of all the books adapted into the series, which would be awesome.
Oh yeah,
but
I'm totally down to see because like I want to see Tyson. I want to see my boy.
I don't think this is that. It's a slight spoiler, but nothing too major. But 2 of the episodes were completely separate from none of this was ever really shown in the movies or anything, so I'm definitely interested to see how much this was in the books. But there's 2 episodes in the show that were nothing like it was in the movie, and it was like completely different stuff that they did, and some of the characters that they interacted with I think was really interesting, and I wasn't expecting it. Trying not to name stuff off to spoil anything, but it's definitely interesting seeing the differences between this show and what the movie did.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I actually haven't been able to start it because I've been trying to catch up on a bunch of other stuff.
But anyway, Menace, you wanna switch over and let us know what's going on with Twitch right now?
Welcome back to Menace's drama hour, well, part of the hour, I guess.
Yeah, I'm taking some of that, so don't take it all.
Menace drama power hour.
Oh, there we go. We're getting more layoffs in everywhere in media lately. Everywhere. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my main topic and get to little side stuff that happened. So we got Twitch is laying off 35% of its headcount, which is reportedly 500 employees. Now, this is actually part of a bigger company thing because some people don't know. Twitch is actually part of Amazon. They got bought out a little while ago. But Amazon is reportedly laying off 18,000 people. There's not really much said about why.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, and we had the big Bungie layoffs too. We had other stuff that I'm gonna get into as well, but not really much is said about why it is. Last month, they also announced that they're ceasing their operations in South Korea, but that is due to the networking fees that they had there. There hasn't been really anything even up till now. This was 4 days ago on the 10th, but apparently due to big Amazon layoffs, Twitch is now getting affected too. But the main thing that people have started talking about this is that if there's going to be more layoffs, what's going to happen, or what happens when Big Papa Amazon decides that Twitch just isn't doing enough anymore. Because I talked about this in the last episode a little bit, but Amazon as a website company, service, streaming service, whatever, pays off so many streamers and does all this stuff that they haven't turned a profit since its release, practically. But it is so popular that it is able to essentially coattail Amazon all the way home.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting if Twitch ends up falling apart, because there's gonna be this huge gap in streaming if that goes away.
I honestly think everyone's just gonna move over to Kick, and it's gonna be the same scenario, because Kick is what Twitch was before it started to, want to be better, where there wasn't gambling with skins and loot boxes and all that stuff that wasn't allowed, or that was allowed on Twitch. Then they got rid of it, and all those people moved over to Kick, where you're able to do all that. You're able to play poker games and stream them. You're able to play, slots or whatever other little gambling games there are out there.
VR becomes the way to go.
Well, then we're just gonna be living in it, and then...
What's wrong with that?
No, that's why that was the end of that sentence. If we get to that point, though, kind of little thing I want to pop in, would live streaming just be like vlogging then in VR.
Yeah,
technically.
kind of in a way.
But there were layoffs at Unity as well that I wanted to talk about, but I don't have the numbers. I found it. A couple days before all the Amazon and Twitch layoffs, Unity was cutting approximately 25% of its workforce, and that's 1,800 people. And this is due to you know how Unity wanted to start feeing people for using their service. Like they were changing up the rules of like if you made over $1 million, you'd have to start having fees taken out for every download or every install and stuff like that.
I'm not too familiar with that.
This was a year or two ago, but a lot of developers were talking about going off of Unity, stuff like that. I think Cold to the Lamb was talking about shutting down their game. But after they started doing that, or after that, there was big backlash about that, I should say. The CEO, Jim Whitehurst, announced that a company reset is going to start happening after the backlash from the wanting to do the whole fee things and everything. So the 25% of layoffs is apparently due to part of that company reset. That is the largest layoff ever recorded for Unity. I'm just, with all these layoffs, I'm getting scared for the gaming industry as a whole, as the service of streaming games is getting layoffs. The service of the engines are getting layoffs. For Bungie, the service of the people creating the games and managing the communities of the games are getting layoffs. I know I bring this drama up and I make fun of it, but it's like, it keeps adding up. It's stuff that needs to be brought to light because it's such these big, never before seen numbers of people. It's terrible to see that the industry that has been thriving for so long and become this thing that we just know and love is kind of like falling apart right in front of our eyes due to stupid decisions from CEOs. But going from sad and scary news into video games, Gemini, let's hear about some good news for games.
Okay. Well, if you are familiar with the MOBA scene at all, there is a new MOBA game coming out. Technically, it's new, but it's not new. It is the sequel to Smite. Smite is apparently getting a standalone sequel.
Ooh.
And if you're not familiar with Smite, it is like I said, it's a MOBA like Dota, League of Legends, and everything. And this one was like a little bit different in the sense where I think the camera angle's a little different. And instead of being like with Dota, how it's like, I've never played Dota, but it's like that one's like a fantasy one, and League of Legends is kind of like a spin-off of Dota, but not. It's its own separate thing now. Smite is where you play as, the mythical gods. So you can play you can play as like Thor. I think I don't actually know who all the champions are of Smite.
I can start to get into that.
It's kind of a jamble. It's kind of like a jamble of different gods from different things, like Greek, Roman,
It's
Norse.
basically like it's basically a MOBA of like a clash of the gods.
You have Aztec gods in there too. You have some of them aren't even like technical gods.
Cthulhu's
Cthulhu, Bahamut.
There's not even some gods too. Like there's Cerberus, or there's a Medusa. Like they're not technically gods, but there's some just like creatures and stuff in there.
Yeah, they're people of like creatures and people of like myth essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But during the announced at the 2024 Smite World Championship, they will be releasing a standalone sequel called Smite 2. I don't know if they'll be giving it a different name, but so far it's just known as Smite 2. They plan to
Smite
keep
2, the Smite name.
Yeah, they're not gonna abandon Smite 1 as for currently. They're gonna still keep continuing Smite 1, but basically it is going to be rebuilt from the ground up because currently Smite 1 is on Unreal Engine 3.
Oh, wow.
Smite 2 will be on UE5. So it's going to be a big leap forward in, just how the game looks visually. So they're going to be doing visual upgrades, new animations, new visual effects, and as well as gameplay improvements and new UI, probably a new map features, as well as overhauling some of the abilities for certain characters. They did state so far that they will be adding 5 new gods to Smite 2, starting with Hecate, the Greek goddess of sorcery, and the alpha playtest will be planned for spring of this year. So
has it been said if that's going to be on all platforms for the test or just PC?
Not that I'm seeing currently. I can quick do a.
We are not playing that, Lane. Now.
We are playing that.
We are not playing.
It's definitely interesting.
I thought you liked Smite. You liked a
little bit, but it was.
We don't have to play the lane mode. We can just play arena. That's my favorite thing to do in Smite.
No.
Ooh, what platforms? Smite 2 leaves at PS4, Xbox One, and Switch behind. Focusly sold PS5, Series X, and PC. So yes, it will be coming to the console.
Next gen consoles.
It will not be on the last gen console. consoles, which is what I have, but I would play it on PC anyway, so that's besides the point. Probably due to the fact it will be on UE5. Yeah, it says the games will still coexist and everything. Who knows how long that will last, though, because if Smite 2 really kicks off, eventually they probably will abandon Smite 1 to focus on Smite 2, which is fair.
A gaming studio that is keeping their already active game alive as they look to launch their sequel? Man, Overwatch really should have taken some notes from this, because honestly, Smite's probably gonna outdo Overwatch in this whole sequel game.
It's definitely interesting seeing a game like you rarely ever see games of this style get a sequel, or it's really more or less just a one giant ground up update to it.
Yeah, except Dota.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see one of these games do this, because it is needed for a lot of these games, because how long Smite, League of Legends, Dota, and all of them.
As you were.
Yeah, the images that they have released, they do look rough, but to be fair, you know, it's still in its like
It's pre-alpha.
Yeah, it's pre-alpha. Nothing looks good during pre-alpha. So like they're probably like slowly building it, and I wouldn't even be surprised if like for some of these pre-alpha, if they're still using some of the old models and textures just as they try and figure out where they're gonna go in the direction. So it does look a bit rough still, but it's pre-alpha. Like the alpha like playtest won't even be out till like spring, and they didn't even say when in spring. Early spring, late spring, mid-spring. They just said spring. So
As you were saying this, I was getting so excited because like all I could think of was like Overwatch, League, like before the big update, but just a bunch of other games that, like Blaze said, need these just like, I've been saying this for years, all you guys know this, they need to start from the ground up. They need to build their game, rebuild their game. They can't just go by updates.
The only tragic thing is, it seems like, is if you are a avid Smite player and you are a veteran Smite player, not all of the Smite content from Smite 1 will transfer over to Smite 2. Any in-game skins released before year 11 will not be carried over. As the team states, it will not be feasible to recreate the vast amount of content released over the past 10 years, although there is a legacy system planned to reflect the investment veteran Smite players have made. So tragically, yeah, if you've been playing since like season 1, year 1, however Smite goes with that, if you've accumulated and amassed a lot of content, especially very rare content, you will not probably be able to have it in Smite 2, but they did say that they are attempting to make a legacy system, so you will be able to show off that you have not seen the sun in 10 years.
And they did also say that they're going to keep Smite 1 running, so you will not lose that content.
No, you're not losing the content. It's just, you can't transfer to Smite 2 and, flop in with your season 2. What's a god who's been around for?
Can't get the flex, but you still have it. And honestly, I feel like that's how games should do it. Like games like this, I should say, like the MOBAs and stuff like that.
Yeah, they said they're going to work on a like they have a legacy system plan, so you will still be able to flex. You just won't be able to like flex with your like 8-year-old skin.
Yeah.
Like I've played this game since the alpha, but now you can do it again though. Now you can be like, I've played Smite from both alphas now.
Yeah. Another 10 years.
Another 10 years.
100 years Smite 2.
I did heard that from an interview, they did mention where you were talking about the skins or some other content. Some won't be transferred, but it seems if you are doing the transfer going from Smite 1 to 2, they will give you the gems that you paid for to get those stuff. They'll give that back so you can use that gems in Smite 2 so you can get some more stuff.
That is also awesome.
That's good. And who's the company that makes, is it Hi-Rez or is it someone else?
Hi-Rez. They're usually really good with their community.
Yeah. So if you really like MOBAs, if you're an avid Smite player, you probably already know. But if you're like, if you're a more casual Smite player, this is something to look out for. They're revamping map layouts, new interaction buttons, item overhauls. So all gods can buy strength or intelligence. I've played Smite 3 times in my life, so I have no idea what they're talking about with some of this. But
it's okay. You will now.
Yeah, I have. The last time I played, I spent money on the game just so I could buy Ixtal, and that was all I cared about.
It'll give us another crossplay game to play.
Last time I played Smite was when they did the Ruby crossover.
They do a lot of anime stuff, and it's interesting. They do a lot of crossovers that you wouldn't expect from a MOBA.
Oh yeah, like what are they? They're doing one now.
Yeah,
V-Shogo.
Yeah, V-Shoujo or something. Some anime titty woman. Basically, it looks like they are, as it stated, they're building the game from the ground up, rebuilding it. And honestly, like I said, I've never been really a Smite player because I've already invested too much time, money, and energy, sweat, blood, and tears into League of Legends. I only have enough mental capacity in my brain for one MOBA at a time. But I know there are a lot of people who really enjoy this game. Menace, you are one of them.
I'm definitely a casual player, but I haven't played it in years, but I do enjoy it.
You probably enjoy it more than League, but
It's kind of 50-50. Those are the two MOBAs I've actually run into.
that's fair. It definitely is more active than Blizzard's MOBA that is pretty much dead in the ground.
Heroes of the don't even bring it up.
Yeah, I played Heroes of the Storm like 4 times, and every time I hated it. I played like the support archer chick or whatever the her name is. I don't even remember, and I'm just like, what am I doing?
I feel like Blizzard at this point is like great on ideas, poor on execution. That's the Blizzard way.
Yeah, I feel like that's most MOBAs, because Riot's kind of falling into that category now. They've been, from what I hear, but like they're really starting to show it.
I haven't been keeping up with League, so.
Well, I mean, if you look at half their splash arts, they all look the same. You can't tell who is who in these new splash arts anymore for new skins. They're pumping them out so fast. They pump out 3 champions a year. The newest one is a dragon who suffered from the like My Little Pony Littlest Pet Shop syndrome, where it just looks like
Derpy.
Yeah, it looks like a human, like a cutesy child, because it's meant to be a baby dragon, which really cute idea. You know, the champion's gonna be a little baby dragon, and he's an ADC if I recall correctly, and his name is Smolder.
It's like mini dragon from Jungle.
Yeah, he's basically a little dragon, and his abilities are a little strong, and that's something that is a problem. They are slowly coming out with very overly tuned champions. His ult, though, I find so adorable. He basically screams for his mom, and just a column of fire shoots out from his mother. I think that is adorable. It is very adorable, and a very good like idea and concept of this baby dragon is essentially like screaming for mommy. I think it's cute. I think it's not executed well, because he also gets healed in his mom's fire, and I'm like, that's a little much. But they did up it was basically like a Sonic thing. When Sonic's design was first released, everyone hated it and he looked atrocious. That's what happened with Smolder. So Riot has come back and edited it. They fixed his design to where he looks more animalistic.
Okay.
The segment isn't even supposed to be about League, but I don't really have anything else about Smite. Yeah, it's a MOBA. And it's a MOBA, honestly, that's just as old. You know, League is like 12, 13, 14 years old? I have no idea. It's old. And Smite is just as old, maybe a little bit younger, but like it's an old game. Moving on from the announcement of Smite 2, Subset, what do you have about, we're rotating back to drama. Subset, what do you have about the Verbalase YouTube drama? I don't even know who the Verbalase is.
Is this what I think it is?
Yes, 2.
I hate everything on the internet. I'm out.
And 2, I wasn't a watcher myself. I knew him a little bit, right? He is known on YouTube for doing like beatbox rap battles, right? If you remember those circling around.
Oh no, this is how it ends. This is the first time I've heard about this person too, but Blaze, do you know what this is?
I do. I unfortunately
This is so stupid.
It is.
But this drama just came out this weekend. Like, I just figured it out, and I've been trying to catch up to speed as much as I can, because I thought it was going to be like a one-off of what you expect to see. But no, it's been popping up a lot. So, Verbalase, this man's, right, out of his great mind, dropped $50K for a 3-minute animation of his Sona basically getting spicy with Charlie Morningstar from Has-Been Hotel.
By spicy, are we meaning like, you know, bombastic side-eye spicy, or like just...
It was an MV of Charlie chasing after his Sona throughout the whole time, and I posted it in one of the chats. You can look at it. It's 3 minutes long, and to answer your question, Trent, and to keep it enough for our viewers, there is a scene where he is tied up onto the bed, and I will leave it at that.
Oh, is this like that Powerpuff Girls like remake spin-off where the creator made like a self-insert that...
No. This has nothing to do with the creator.
Yeah.
This is some random person on the internet who dropped $50,000 for a 3-minute animation. Mind you, that is way too much money for a 3-minute animation,
and there's some...
The animation's not even that good, to be honest.
It's okay. Like, it's not horrible. It's okay. Definitely not worth $50K. I'm just saying. Definitely not worth $50K.
This is because of, and for those who don't know, Has-Been Hotel Hotel is a YouTube pilot made by VivzyPop, who is the same person that made the YouTube series or Hell of a Boss. Husband Hotel is the one that got picked up by Amazon. Very good show. It is one of those, I don't want to say dark humor, but kind of like a South Park almost.
It's adult humor. It's adult humor.
Set as the daughter of Lucifer himself, Charlie Morningstar, is making a rehab hotel for sinners.
But
So hopefully they can get into heaven.
there's just a lot of tidbits that have been coming out of this. Like some things.
I knew
like,
the resurgence of the show would cause stuff like this, but it's so dumb.
I'm aware, but bro, the thing is, he is a 40-year-old married man, may I add. Don't know if he had kids or not, but I do know he is a married 40-year-old man who, by the way, he has his own team of animators for his stuff on his channel, and from what I've been seeing and hearing, he doesn't pay them.
But he'll drop 50K on a animation?
Yes, basically bankrupting himself.
Jesus.
So there's a lot of questions and a lot of whys and just how. I just want to shoot out. Will you spend 50K? Like, there's a lot you can spend 50K.
Down payment on a
definitely-
house and a new car.
Yeah,
Definitely not a
honestly.
3-minute shitty animation.
Yeah, no, hell no.
Well, correction. I don't want to disrespect the animator. Probably didn't even know what the was going on because apparently I'm trying to keep this as a way as rumor as possible, but it's not bad. It's just not worth 50K. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's not bad. It's decent. It's just not worth 50K.
Okay, maybe not the animation, but at least the artwork for it.
But the reactions that people have been posting, at least on TikTok, has been slightly funny. Of people like getting the same clue and like, bro, the
It's just a why moment. Like, why would you do that?
dude, people are weird.
When you are running a business and not paying your people, like,
At the end of the day, dude's weird. This is something I wasn't expecting to just show up in a fandom, but you know how fandoms can be. It can be rather surprising and volatile in the good and bad. And unfortunately, this is one of the bad.
I was
On
gonna
a
say
silver
that.
lining, people have been making light of it because the song that they use for the vid is actually pretty good. So people are making memes that, oh, you know, the song slaps or the song is fire, but you can't get where it's from out of their head. So a lot of people are pointing it at as a camel by camel situation. You know the song, you just can't get the video away from the song sometimes. So at least in some way, people are, you know, crucifying this man in the right ways, but also trying to make it funny in a lighter tone. I don't know. I don't know. People have been everywhere with this, and I just have not stopped seeing reactions or talks about it on my page.
Yeah, I just looked it up on YouTube and I'm seeing so many people making their own videos criticizing Verbalase and the whole video itself.
The sucky part is it's just like a couple days out of the premiere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Premiere's not even out yet.
There's already controversy.
the people who pre-ordered got the first 2 episodes. The first 4 episodes will be airing on launch.
I just wanted to see, like, just 50K. So many people did this same conversation on what will you do for 50K, just for that, or, you know, they show examples of what you can do with it and shit like that. And I'm just thinking, my bro just threw that like it was nothing. And apparently it was donation money. So throwing in that extra layer is just another. So you do that while still not paying your team of animators. So there's a lot going on in this story, and I kind of hope there's a bit more that comes out so it can be more fleshed out than it being somewhat unclear in some places and clear in others. But I don't know. I'm unsure we'll even get an update on this whole fiasco. I kind of hope that we don't. But you know, drama is drama, and aren't we hungry for it?
I'm kind of done with drama, with everything.
Some of us more than others.
All right. Well, that said, I'm out. That's it.
Be-doo.
Human race is doomed. Anything you guys would like to add in this strange turn of events?
I was just say, whoever the artist is, at least they're eating good.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, whoever drew that. You're
Easy
doing.
50K of their life, I swear.
Honestly, I don't blame them.
Nah,
I don't blame them.
I'm honestly surprised we talked about YouTube drama technically in both episodes.
It's just a YouTube week.
Yeah, the YouTube week.
Whether
for
that means it's Your bad week.
It's YouTube. Anything's possible, unfortunately. But I think that's where I'm gonna wrap up on that story because I want to get away from that. Bit of a gives you a little bit of the ick.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to take us out?
No, we're staying here. This is forever now.
Robbie probably has something in the editor's room to talk about.
Now, I know I've talked about the MCU before, specifically in the two-man episode Gemini and I had done. However, I feel like there's something else I really want to touch on, and that is the introduction to the MCU of the Defenders line of characters that are coming in around a month or so. And I feel like this is a great idea. The MCU has struggled a lot with creating engaging and relatable characters for us to get invested in. I feel like a lot of the new characters they've made have been just for the sake of making new characters and not really making the best new characters to relate with their audience, as we've seen with Captain Marvel and She-Hulk, with just the way that these characters have been poorly received. I know America Chavez has been great. I know season 2 of What If has done an amazing job of rewriting old stories with new characters, but what the MCU really needs right now, especially after Endgame and especially with the fact that Kang is seemingly out of the MCU, they really need to refocus their viewership on characters that people will actually care about. And sure, the Defenders line of shows on Netflix didn't necessarily do the best. Iron Fist was most likely the worst out of all 4 of them, but I think it's a really good idea to include Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and Daredevil, as these characters have had time to grow as characters, and we can definitely, and the MCU overall definitely needs a new revitalization of characters, especially with the loss of Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man or Chris Hemsworth's Captain America, and also Mark Ruffalo's The Hulk, because it seems like they are really shifting away from the old guard, and I feel like their best option right now is to put forth, especially with this Echo series and the Daredevil Born Again movie, if that movie ever decides to get made, they really need to reintroduce a set of characters that their audience can get behind and their audience can connect with, and also characters that people recognize, and we really need to see a restructuring of what is seen as the new guard. And yes, I know that their overall plan is to create the new Avengers movie and have that really establish the new team of Avengers that people will invest in, but I feel like right now in the state that the MCU is, they really need to refocus themselves and get back to more relatable and more interesting characters. And I think the best way to do that is with their series of Echo and focusing more on street level threats rather than the cosmic level threats that we've seen through Infinity War into Endgame. And I feel this reintroduction of the Defenders line of shows to the MCU is great, as with what they're doing with the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. It'll only be a positive to have more iconic characters in your lineup, because as we all know, we saw what happened when the old guard left and the MCU was struggling just to find an identity, to find characters to push as their new guard. And though their interpretations on Netflix may not have been the best, this Echo series and anything else that they put out in line with the Defenders is just going to increase the goodwill that fans will put in with the MCU now that the Defenders, the X-Men, seemingly all of the MCU properties except for Spider-Man is finally back under the same roof. And I can't wait to see what they have in store. But that is about it when it comes to my rant about the current state of MCU and their introduction of the Defenders, and I will pass it back to my friends to close out this episode.
But other than that, thank you all for tuning in to the Pop Culture Effect. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more from us. And for those watching on the podcast on CJSW, thank you for tuning in. I want to thank my lovely hosts for joining in with us again. Gemini, thanks for coming.
A pleasure as always.
My hive mind brother Menace.
Always a good time, and make sure to check out the other channels on CGSW.
And thank you, Subset.
Hey yo, keep listening to us, please.
Bye.
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 Hey yo.
Did you know Homie has a dordle?
Hey, no,
I'm sorry for that first
doing
part.
You're good. You were doing the
Cover
intro
up.
this time, Subset.
Oh my god.
I'm,
It's
I'm,
not
gotta
that
read.
bad.
I'm just gonna keep it recording to go into the next one.
That's
Okay, how do I? There's no way I can make that bigger, can I? I can actually read it. The
Oh.
thing Bubber has. I can't zoom in on this as much on this thing.
It's laptop. Just lift it up to your face.
My eyes hurt because of my allergies. So no,
Did he send it to you personally, or is it on the Discord?
this is on the Discord. It's on like the topic listing, and it's it's in like this small text. I don't know why
Oh,
I can't
okay, I
even
see.
zoom in on it. I can't even like. I can press it once.
Just
Well,
pull it up on your phone.
it's true. Imagine it just goes like that. There we go. That's better. Yeah.
Now don't call yourself Rockin Rob.
I'm Rockin Rob. So I just say hello and then you just start it off.
You do your heyo instead of
Oh, yeah,
just do your
hello.
heyo and then
Heyo. Well, do I need to say the twice?
What?
This is welcome to the pop culture effect. Like, do I need to? I just say once.
it is the pop culture effect on the YouTube channel and everything. So yeah.
So I gotta say the same time. Okay, I say twice. Okay. Heyo, welcome to the. It'll be well. I hope you guys enjoy this, especially you, Bobber. Heyo, welcome to the pop culture effect.
Why'd you say the twice?
It says the in the thing, and you guys said is I gotta, no, I'm just gonna say it once. F it.
You can say the. You don't need to see the. It's welcome to the pop culture effect.